What's up, everybody? This is Greg Coleman. Welcome back to No Jobbers Allowed. This is episode 2. So, sure, if you're a wrestling fan, by now you've heard about what happened last Monday with Sasha Banks and Naomi and the whole situation with them walking out of Raw and the reasons behind that. There's been plenty of rumors and reports from the dirt sheets about what the booking was going to be. What actually happened, who actually made us think about it, how long they knew, etc., etc. So, for those people who may not be in the know, I'll just kind of give you a quick synopsis of what happened. So, there was a six-pack challenge scheduled for Raw last Monday to determine who would be wrestling Bianca Belair for the Raw Women's title at Hell in a Cell. So already this is a shaky idea at best because it's clear Asuka and Becky have had interactions, so there was no reason why those two should not have either wrestled each other for a number one contenders match for Bianca's title, or they both should have just been selected as Bianca's opponent and made it a triple threat match, and then those two could have branched off from there and another contender presented himself. So, or herself, excuse me. So apparently the match that was advertised at the beginning of Raw was a six-pack challenge with Sasha Banks, Naomi, Asuka, Becky Lynch, Nikki ASH, and Doudrop. So right off the back, it's a pretty bad booking, in my opinion, to have the women's tag team champions, Sasha Banks and Naomi, in a six-pack challenge match to determine who's going to wrestle Bianca Belair at Hell in a Cell. They already have championships. Why not just start a program with those two to have them defend their tag team titles at Hell in a Cell? One of the biggest problems that Sasha Banks had in the past when she was a tag team champion with Bayley is that she felt that the tag team titles were not really valued. They didn't get a chance to actually build any kind of lineage or credibility for those titles. And over time, she's been proven right. I mean, when Sasha and Bayley lost the tag titles to the Iconics really did nothing with those titles. I think they may have had like 3 defenses before they ultimately lost them, and those titles are probably less prestigious now than the 24/7 title is. Definitely not featured as much. So if you're going to have 2 of the best women's wrestlers in your division to have those tag titles, which Sasha Banks and Naomi are, it would seemingly be in the company's best interest to have them defend those titles, actually create credible tag teams to present as challengers for those titles to actually build up that credibility. So apparently that was the match, and the rumors are that the plan was Naomi was going to pin Sasha Banks in that six-pack challenge and then go on to wrestle Bianca Belair at Hell in a Cell, which, surprise, surprise, she was going to be booked to lose. And then on the SmackDown side, Sasha was going to be the challenger for Ronda Rousey's SmackDown Women's title at Hell in a Cell, and surprise, surprise, she was going to lose. So the rumors, the reports are that Sasha, and this is how it was initially reported, Sasha had a problem with the booking, went to go talk to Vince McMahon, then talked to her producer, and her and Naomi subsequently walked out, and that was pretty much the story. So, of course, as always with anything wrestling related, the first thing that you have to ask or be a little bit leery of is this a part of the story? So we've seen, if you've been a wrestling fan long enough, you've seen feigned injuries, you've seen feigned contract situations ending. You've seen famously um, feigned retirements with Mark Henry, only to end up being a greater part of the show. So that's the first part. Is this, as they say, a work? Is this a part of the story that's going to pay off at some point in the future? So rumblings start to happen, and shout out to my guy DB, who, when we were talking about it, he said, no, I don't think this will work because the announcers brought up how unprofessional, particularly Corey Graves, um, brought up how unprofessional Sasha and Naomi were. Um, so again, still not sure if it was a work, but then you start to hear more reports, and WWE puts out their statement, um, which is really more so about them trying to control the narrative than anything else, or actually reporting what happened, because they portray Sasha and Naomi pretty much as divas and brats. They talk about how they had all day to work on the match, and the booking that is being reported was false, and that Sasha and Naomi apparently didn't want to do the match because they had problems with two of the women in the match, even though that they had matches with them in the past. And then they went on to say that it was disappointing about what Sasha and Naomi did, and that WWE is a scripted show, and to provide entertainment, they want everybody involved, and that they apologize, yada yada. So all of this is a little bit suspicious because we've seen people walk out before, and never have had commentary chime in on it, and then have this kind of breaking kayfabe statement from the company about, hey, we're really scripted, and these two ruined or set back the entertainment value of our show because they walked out. So that's Monday night, pretty much what we're left with. Then on Tuesday, a tweet comes out that is apparently from someone who is friends, I think, with Naomi, or it may have been Sasha, but they give an account in which Sasha and Naomi arrive to the building. They hear about the six-pack challenge. They hear about the booking, which was reported to have Naomi pinning Sasha Banks, and then those two, Sasha and Naomi, being in separate women's title matches at Hell in a Cell, both losing. So the report from that was that Sasha felt that this would make her and Naomi look weak as tag team champions, which is true, to have them both get individual title matches and then lose those matches and then come back and say, oh, well, at least we're the tag team champions, even though you and I failed in our quest to win the Raw and SmackDown women's titles respectively. So apparently she had went to talk to a producer, and the producer told them to fix their attitudes, and was a little bit disrespectful, which honestly I don't think that's outside of the realm of possibility, given some of the stories that we've heard about how some of the talent are treated. So this is what led to the walkout, according to this friend. Things that have happened outside of that have really, in my opinion, made WWE look really funny in the light. They removed Sasha and Naomi's merchandise from WWE's shop website, apparently because they don't want them to be able to make any money while they're suspended indefinitely, which we found out on SmackDown when Michael Cole turned into everyone's dad at some point when he shook his finger at Sasha Banks and Naomi on behalf of the WWE, and surely on behalf of Vince McMahon and management, by saying, Sasha and Naomi let everybody down. So here are my thoughts on this situation. One, Sasha and Naomi didn't let anybody down. If they walked out, they did what they felt was best for them and was best for their career. I know a lot of people have called them selfish, maybe. A lot of people have called them unprofessional. I think you can make a case that just walking out and not going through with the booking is unprofessional. But I do think it's important in a promotion, particularly one that is as tight run as WWE, to really take a stake in how they present you and how your character is being presented and how you're treated, because you don't have the option to go and work anyplace else. It's not like AEW or Impact or New Japan where you can take bookings at other places. WWE treats you as if you're an independent contractor, but they don't give you the freedom, and they have a lot of restrictions and everything like that. So if this is going to be the only place you're going to work and be allowed to work, and they're going to be able to have a say so in other things that you do, then I would absolutely have zero problem at anyone wanting to feel good about what they're doing, having input in their character. We've heard it before from Stone Cold. Hey, Vince likes when you come to them with ideas, and you can't be afraid to challenge him, grab that metaphorical brass ring. So I don't really have a problem with Sasha and Naomi walking out. It's happened in the past. It may not be the most professional way of handling it, but we are also talking about a company that will release mass people multiple times a year for seemingly no rhyme or reason, and there's little to no care about how those people, where they're going to work, what their family's going to do for money, and there's little to no justification for it, because a lot of the times it happens after they have a big show, or they've made a major deal, such as the Saudi shows and everything like that. So I think the biggest thing that is damning WWE now in this whole situation from a fan perspective is not so much the fact that Sasha had a complaint and that she walked out, because Sasha is a legit star. She's a superstar. I believe she's the biggest star in WWE right now. When you look at everything that Sasha has done in WWE, she's clearly one of the greatest women's wrestlers of all time, one of the best women's wrestlers to ever wrestle in WWE easily, if not the best. I know she doesn't have the accomplishments of Charlotte, and that's a whole another conversation for another day. But if you look at everything she's doing outside of WWE without having the machine behind her, recurring role on The Mandalorian. She just did Kevin Hart's YouTube show, Cold as Balls. She was on Hot Ones. Just over the weekend, there was footage of her partying with Steve Aoki. So Sasha is a star. Sasha clearly has other options, and if you go back and you listen to her on the Broken Skull sessions, she talks about how she's past that point of where she's just happy to be in WWE and that she's grateful to be here. Now, she feels she's at the same point as Vince McMahon. So her tolerance for the BS is going to be pretty low. And I, for one, again, I'm not mad at her. You can only do what they're doing for so long, and it is best for you to make the most out of that time as you possibly can, and there's no need to waste it doing something that you feel won't benefit you in the short term or the long term, or really benefit anybody else, which is also was a part of Sasha's friends' account about why Sasha and Naomi had the issue that they had, is that they felt like, why not build the women's division up by, um, putting Nikki Ash and Doudrop and making them a tag team, making them credible, and then we can defend our tag team titles against them. So Sasha really does seem to, if the reports are true, not just advocating for her and Naomi and what's best for them, but she wants to see the women's division elevated as a whole. And again, if they can make the tag titles credible, um, they would then have to make legit women's tag teams to feed into that effort of making those titles credible. So Sasha Banks walking out, I think it would be easy for WWE to spin it to some fans that may already have an opinion about Sasha. Whether it was what happened after WrestleMania 35, I think, when they lost the tag titles, and the stories where she had asked for a release and got denied and took a lot of time off and then returned at SummerSlam. Turned heel and kind of transitioned into the blueprint phase of her character. So I think it wouldn't be hard to convince fans to actually turn on Sasha and present her as being, a brat, a diva, big-headed, whatever negative connotation you wanted to put on it, selfish. The problem that WWE has, and this is going to be an extremely tough sell, is convincing people that Naomi is somehow not a team player, is selfish, is big-headed, would do anything to risk her job, and has other things going on that she could do, and she's just trying to big-time WWE. Listen, Naomi started her career on television. She was, I believe she goes back to FCW. This is the only wrestling promotion she's ever been a part of. She's done everything in WWE, from starting out as a funkadactyl, as a dancer, valet, to doing Team Bad, to being on Total Divas, to SmackDown Women's Champion, and then going through that period where they weren't really doing a lot with her at all, to now being a women's tag champ. Before that, it was her just having a beef with Sonya Deville for no apparent reason. Sonya Deville targeted her and was just making her life miserable. So for a woman who has been pretty much a WWE lifer, who hasn't shown that she has a lot of interest outside of WWE. Again, she's not on TV shows or any TV shows that are not WWE related. Like I said, she's a WWE lifer. She's been through it all, seemingly, from the bottom to the top to the middle. And for her to never have a reputation of complaining, never walking out, no rumblings of her asking for her release, and then to top it all off, she just so happens to be married to a member of probably the most prestigious wrestling family, at least in WWF history, the Anoa'i family, Jimmy Uso, who's a part of that. There would be really no reason for Naomi to walk out and take that strong of a stance unless it was something that she really didn't agree with, and unless whoever that producer was, whether it was John Laurinaitis, who was reported they went in and dropped the tag titles off to, really disrespected them and came at them foul. So I'm always going to rock with the talent, just like in a pro sports situation where a athlete holds out for more money. I'm always going to rock with the athlete, and unless other information comes out to disprove or make me think otherwise, I am going to lean more to the side of that. Sasha and Naomi went to whoever they went to in a very cordial, professional manner, and they were disrespected, and they moved accordingly. So hopefully we hear from Sasha and Naomi at some point. I originally said I wasn't going to discuss this in great detail until that happened. But you know, seeing as now they've been suspended indefinitely and um, they've had their merchandise removed, as I mentioned earlier. And I read something today that reportedly Sasha has been replaced on the Then Now and Forever video with Cody Rhodes. So we'll see if that's true in a little bit when Raw kicks off. So just real bad look, a lot of shady, questionable behavior from WWE that we've never seen in situations like this when somebody walked out. Like they didn't do this with Tony Storm or Jeff Hardy. A little bit of it, but on Jeff with the feeling as if he may have been, I guess, intoxicated, which turned out to not be true. But very weird the way WWE's was moving with all the statements. It's clear that they're really trying to get out in front and control the narrative and paint Sasha and Naomi in a negative light, which really isn't cool. So I saw a quote from Mark Henry that, quote, "It's wrong as hell the way that they handled it by having the commentators discuss the walkout." And I couldn't agree more with Mark. Definitely is, like I said, very poor behavior being shown on their part, and it really makes WWE look more guilty. So that's my thoughts on it. Let me know what you guys think. Do you lean more to the WWE side of it? Are you leaning more to what is reportedly coming out of Sasha and Naomi's camp about those interactions getting disrespectful and them just, you know, kind of looking out for their characters and looking out for the women's division? Let me know. Leave a comment. Again, email me. Let me know what you guys' thoughts are. Have a good one. Thanks for watching.